This podcast is part of Pearson's professional development series for reading and writing instructors.
Cheryl Hogue-Smith, Kingsbourgh Community College, City University of New York. I use MyWritingLab in my composition class. I have a 12-week semester, and my students, I assign them 10 modules, the 10 most common errors that we find in developmental composition or regular freshman composition. I use it in both run-ons, fragments, subject-verb agreement, pronoun-antecedent agreement, and so on and so forth. And I have 10 modules that I have them go through, and they have to complete one per week. I also use the summary, the research, and various other ones. It's not just grammar. And then they have to complete one per week, and the entire thing counts for 5% of their grade, their scores. This semester I'm doing something a little different in that I'm assigning the same 10 modules, the same consistent ones. But if I have a student who, say, has an apostrophe problem, I'm going to have them complete that module in my writing lab before they can turn in their final draft of their assignment, of their paper. They have to show mastery of that particular problem that I wanted them to go into my writing lab for, print out the mastery of that problem, identify in their paper the area that they had trouble with, and then they have to combine all of that together and turn in their paper at the end. So I'm going to try to make them more accountable and not just mastering it somewhere else, but also in their own paper so that they can show that that skill has transferred into their own paper. And I will do the same thing with fragments and run-ons and all those others if I have to, if they're still not getting it. But I also use another MyLab, and that's MyArtsLab, because my class is linked with an art history class. And so our students, we have the same population of students. They have MyArtsLab and MyWritingLab, and we cross over a little bit into both. And we're starting that this semester where she's going to use a little bit of MyWritingLab, I'm going to use a little bit of MyArtsLab, and we're not quite sure how that's going to work yet. The most surprising benefit that I actually find with MyWritingLab is that it actually works. We hear a lot about skill and drill, and it doesn't transfer, and I'm trying to make it transfer even more this semester. But I started using MyWritingLab because I was boycotting my bookstore. For a number of reasons I won't get into. And so I decided to use MyWritingLab as the grammar component of the class, because with those 12 weeks in our semester, I don't have a whole lot of time to devote to grammar. And so I started using MyWritingLab, and I was surprised that it worked. I mean, I had heard that it would, and I know that it does. And I can't even tell you how I know that it does, other than I don't have the same number of grammar, punctuation, mechanical problems that I would in a class where I haven't used MyWritingLab. So I wish I could point my finger on it and say it works because, but I can't. But it also works across the board. I think that more people have fewer surface level problems because of MyWritingLab. But it also, if they have problem with summary, I can send them to the summary module, and it can help them with more instruction than I've given them, and then they can come to me with more questions. So I think it's that supplemental instruction, and that just somehow along the way just works.
For more podcasts and other resources, please visit Pearson's professional development community site at www.englishinstructorexchange.com.